Yo, 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 what is up, my fallopian tuber? Cesario from the barrio, coming back and trying to fix my camera. Coming back at you with another, man, can't get this right, video for your butt. Man, I'm just chilling. Just got back from work at Dodger Stadium, where we just barely avoided a sweep from the Phillies. So, thought I'd come home, chill. If you guys saw G's Mikey's video, he gave me a couple of packs of Chronicles, super sweet. So I'm gonna open those right now. So I go live real quick. See if anybody wants to join, have a chat, talk some baseball. I don't know, maybe talk cards. Gotta pack myself a little for my cataracts. Yo, what's up, Araña, man? Where you been, man? I see you all the time with your son, filming your son and his long jump and his track and field and stuff, man. Not seeing much stuff from you. What's up with you, man? You don't want to join? You don't want to talk on here? Come on, Scotty. Scotty too hottie. You know what time it is over here? That's right, 4:20. Ah. All right, later, Vogs. Thanks for joining the chat. Just gonna be a chill, man. So I don't know if you guys remember, but this company used to make baseball cards. Pacific. They used to make great baseball cards in the 90s. So what's going on, people? What's everybody doing, man? I'm just chilling. Like I said, got home from Dodger Stadium a little while ago. We had kids run the bases. Man, there must have been like 1,000 kids that ran the bases. So it took forever, forever, forever. And then finally got done. Yeah, it was Scotty, man. Pacific was pretty sweet. So I'm gonna open up one pack of Chronicles to see what we get. What's up, Uncanny Swag? Glad, thankful for anybody who's joining right now. I know it's pretty late in a lot of places right now. It's already going to be 8 o'clock here in Cali. But check it out. Nice, shiny Chapman. I wasn't in the bullpen during the game. That's a really sweet match, man. Chronicles, they're really sweet ass cards, man. We got Alec Manoa. Look at that. Sweet card right there, rookie. We got this Phoenix of Logan Gilbert. Check out this Monte Harrison X Fractor type shine. Look at that. Sicko. Sicko. All right. And a sweet Cal Ripken. This will go into the Cal Ripken PC right here. This will be the newest edition. Man, that's why I don't like recording in this direction. The cards, I'll just so you guys can see the difference. I'm gonna turn it around. I like to look at these cards from the other side. I like it from the back. But I gotta do all this stuff just to turn the camera around. Gotta go to settings and then all this other stuff. All right, so here we go. Uh, there's my dog Lumpy. But look at that. Sick shiny. Sick shiny. Look at that. I think I just creamed in my pants from the chine. So sweet. Thanks, G's Mikey, for these. Now I'll have another one I'm gonna open up in a bit. So what's going on, guys? What's going on? Anything excited happening in baseball? Anybody wants to talk about? All right, I'm glad I didn't kick myself out. Last time that I was doing that, I was kicking myself out. Yeah, baseball cards in general are getting better, which is something you'd expect. I mean, look at how much shine. Almost every single card except for one in that pack was shine. I remember back in the days where a shiny card was a hit. Now there's so many packs that are just all shine. Put on my Pepino cap. Yeah, man. So what's happening out there? Um, I'm Pepino cat. Yeah, and I got a really furry. you know, it's furry. I'm a cat. Yeah, the Bowman is pretty pricey. I bought 2 hobby packs. They're actually pretty good too. You think that's terrifying, Tylox the Mighty? Is that how you pronounce it? Tylox? 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 You wouldn't be able to tell me anyways, right? With the spelling. So if anybody wants to hop on, man, be my guest. Let's chat it up. No, I'm not a great public speaker, so I'm just here chilling. I know I'm not putting on a show or being very entertaining. I'm just chilling. I was almost gonna blow up my pal here, Bob. You guys remember Bob, man? Bob used to be in my videos like 5, 6 years ago. And I really don't use him as much as I used to. But he's got his Toon Squad jersey on. Pretty sweet. Like Sclava Blanca on Netflix with my chick. There's over 60 episodes. Wow. Like Sclava Blanca. That's not Kenny Powers? I don't think I've heard that show, man. I've been watching so many different TV shows, like, man, for years, for like the last forever. I really hardly ever watched any TV. And now, for some reason, man, I've been getting hooked on some TV shows, man. I did all of Ozark. What's happening, Carrie? Asking you shall receive. But I watched all of Ozark. I watched all the Book of Boba Fett, all the Mandalorians. Man, so many TV shows. Right now, I'm watching a show called Love. It's old, but it's pretty freaking sweet. I had never even heard of it before, but it's pretty badass. I like it a lot. Let's see what else did I watch. Man, just so many things. A Better Call Saul. Um, so what are you guys watching? What do you guys recommend? Anything that's on these streaming sites? Anybody have anything they recommend? No. Moon Knight. I heard about that. I had a friend that they were telling me they were watching that. What is it about? Is it spelled night like like a knight like this that carries a sword? It hit my ceiling light. Brackmire. Uh, is that a show, Brockmire? The Marvel series on Disney Plus. I haven't watched any of the Marvel series. I have Disney Plus. My wife, man, she just ordered all kinds of. I mean, so we have Peacock. I was watching Yellowstone. And somewhere in between, man, I stopped. I started watching Brews Brothers or something like that. Those two brothers that open up like a brewery making beer. That was pretty. That was a pretty cool show.
What's up?
Hylocks, right?
Yep, that's how to say it. Yep, you got it.
Nice. So what you up to?
Not much. Hanging out, watching YouTube videos. I'm jumping around between reading comics, watching YouTube videos, and playing the show.
Man, do you grade comics?
Huh?
Do you have a lot of graded comics?
I don't have a lot of graded ones. Most of mine are ungraded. As a matter of fact, I'm going to Heroes Con this year, and I'm going to meet up with a whole bunch of other comic channels, and I'm actually going to get some graded. Like, it'll be my first ones I've ever had that are graded. But I mean, I can look at them and basically tell what range they're in. It only gets iffy when you get to the 4s, 5s, and 6s, to where you're just kind of like, I have no idea.
Yeah. I did. I don't know if you saw. Is that how you came across my channel when I showed all my comic? I didn't even show all of my comic books. I showed a box of comic books that I
Yeah,
have.
I actually watched that video like a week ago or something like that. I was like, oh, shoot, he's got comics.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them that I didn't even show on there because I have them all over the place. I mean, like I have a bunch of loose ones too. The Archie. Um, and then I have this other little. I have these also in a binder, which I didn't show because I only showed my box.
Oh, see, there you go. Yeah, old Iron Man. Oh, yeah. You had good stuff. When I was watching the video, you kept saying you was paying, like, there were some books you said you paid $2 for that are like $100 books, dude.
Oh, were they? I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know anything about the prices.
Some of them are kind of high that you were showing, and I was like, he got that for $2. Where did he find that at?
Yeah, there was a thrift store.
I was about to say thrift stores, garage sales.
Yeah, there was this thrift store, and they had I also have a bunch of old Sports Illustrated, a bunch of, and everything was $1.
Yeah.
Like everything was $1. So I just bought a bunch of them for $1. So
See, and that's what kills me is I've had many people tell me that, and then every time I go to a thrift store around here or like an antique store or something like that, they never have anything. I mean, they have stuff, but it's never anything that I'm looking for, and it's never anything like I've heard people say that they've got Hulk 181s for 50 cents or $1 at like antique stores and thrift stores just because they were just like, oh yeah, it's just an old Marvel comic.
yeah, you really do have to get lucky too. I mean, because obviously then the store has to know nothing about them either, I guess, right?
Yeah.
To be pricing them like that. But yeah, so this was a little thrift store that opened up by where I live, and me and my wife back in the days we were thrifters. We went to all the thrift stores, all the antique stores, and real estate. We used to do all that all the time. Like that was our thing. And so this thrift store opened like literally down the street from my house, like walking distance of 1 block. So I went to it, and they had all those comics, man. And I remember at first I bought a bunch of Sports Illustrated for $1. And then I said, but I was broke, man. I was really literally broke at that time. And I said, man, I gotta wait till Friday. Hopefully on Friday they still have all these. They went back on Friday and they still had them all for $1, pretty much, almost all of them. But so that thrift store, they had these two big old giant pieces of plywood that had all these old posters from Hollywood, like from old bands, like the Dead Milkmen, just a bunch of old bands that used to play at the Whiskey a Go Go and the Palladium,
Yeah.
and they were laminated. But these were all like '80s posters. You know what I mean? Like actual flyers for gigs and stuff,
Yeah.
parties. So they had two of them, and so I told my daughter about it because she was in a band. So we went back, and I bought her one, and but they had two, but they were $100 each. And so I was able to buy one. I said, all right, next paycheck, I'll try to come buy the other one. So literally, the store had only been open like a month or so, and when I went back, it was closed. It was like gone. Everything was gone. So ended up telling my friend about it at work, and he said like, "Oh yeah, that was my friend's thrift store." I'm like, What happened? Where'd he go?" And he was like, told me the story that the guy was like some kind of drug dealer, and he has these fronts and stuff. He's like, "Yeah," he's like, "That guy just opened it. He doesn't know anything." I was like, "Well, no wonder everything in there was $1, because
Yeah.
I was buying stuff for cheap over there."
Yeah. They just didn't care. They were just like, yeah, buy it. It's
Yeah.
only gonna be here for a little while.
Yeah, but I asked him about like, well, how does he get all this stuff? And he said, oh, he'll go buy the storage containers that have been abandoned, just
Yeah.
so he has something to sell, and they just throw everything in the store and just sell everything for $1, $5, like real cheap. So yeah, but so I was asking you about that being graded, because if you like to read your comics, you don't want to grade it, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. That's the main reason that I've never really gotten into graded books because I like to read them. Like it's gotten to the point where the only way I can justify it is to get like a facsimile copy, like if they've reprinted something and
Yeah.
then I can get a reprint, or like to get two copies. Just one to have graded that I can look nice and be there, just like that, or and then have one to read.
Well, I like what the NFTs are, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I in baseball cards and other stuff, I don't care about NFTs. But what I heard about comic book NFTs, if you buy that NFT and it's a one of one comic book, it shows all the pages.
Yeah, you can read it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
have a.
I thought that was cool. So I was like, oh man, I want an NFT comic book, and like maybe I could go live and read it to people.
I have Journey into Mystery 85, which is like the first Loki. And that's the only reason I got to read it, was because when I bought it as an NFT, I was like, okay, it's an NFT. And then I like clicked on it and I was like, oh, it flipped through the page. Oh, I can read it. Oh, well, this makes it 10 times better. Oh man, I can buy all this old stuff for like, cheap. And then but it's really hard to catch them. Like that's what it is when they release them. It's immediate. Everybody buys them all up. And like by the time you go to click on it, it's already gone. And then you have to rebuy it for like 3 times what somebody else just paid for it.
Oh yeah, everybody's doing that right now. We're flipping NFTs, right? Comic book NFTs.
I just got
So
back into cards. I haven't collected cards since I was a kid, and I've been collecting comic books, and then I met a bunch of people on YouTube that collected both, and they kind of just kept pushing me into it. And then finally, a buddy of mine gave me some cards. Like we went to go hang out one day, and he gave me some cards, and he was like, "There's your in. Go for it." And he gave me Chipper Jones, Tom Glavine, and John Smoltz rookie card. And after that, I was just like, all right. And so I started buying packs and then buying individual
Braves, now
cards.
you're a Braves fan?
Huh?
You're a Braves fan?
Actually, I'm a Red Sox fan.
All right.
Yeah, I got tired of like it. Just seemed to me there was a pattern of every time the Braves would like do really well, they would like let all their good players go like the next season, and then it would be rebuild all over again. And I'm like, you guys are killing us, man. Like,
Yeah, that's the Pirates now and the
yeah,
A's.
the Pirates
That's
do that a lot now
what they
too.
do.
So when I was a kid, there was American and there was National League. Well, they never met in between,
Yeah.
and the only time they met was in the World Series. So I figured I would pick two teams, a national and an American team, And so since they had similar colors to the Braves and stuff like that, I just picked the Red Sox, even though they were horrible back then. Nobody ever thought they would ever like break the curse.
Right? That's amazing because they're so high on top right now, but forever didn't even win a World Series for like the longest. Them
Yeah,
in Chicago.
like yeah, them in
And the
Chicago.
Cubs and the Red Sox are both historical teams.
Yeah, and I don't know why the Cubs, like, it still blows my mind that they never won because they've had great players throughout the year. They've had great teams. Like their teams in the '90s were great. Like why did it take them
I
so long?
mean,
It wasn't like they had a curse or something looming over their head. They didn't
yeah, they
trade,
had the goat, right? Was theirs the goat?
huh?
Their curse was the goat, right?
Yeah, it was something about a goat, but I was like, man,
Yeah, somebody.
that's kind of stretching it. I was like, man, that's looking for a reason to curse like a team.
No,
Like,
no. The story behind it was there was a fan that would take his goat to the Chicago
yeah,
Cubs game. And then yeah, I mean, so it's a true story, but like
yeah,
saying that's why you're losing, it's like, come on.
yeah. I was like, look, like the Red Sox traded away one of the greatest, like, well, probably the greatest hitter of all time, like, or one of them, depends on what you're going for, but they traded him away. That's different than not letting a guy bring his goat to the stadium anymore. Because
Yeah.
I mean,
But either way, they're just fun gimmick excuses, basically.
he could have just said it was his service goat and then just brought it in that way. Got a
Yeah,
little
well, but
vest.
yeah, this was back in the days. Yes, I mean the Red Sox. I can't
They're
believe
killing
they.
me right now.
I mean, but still, I mean they had their chance, and the whole Bill Buckner and Wade Boggs crying thing. I remember
Yeah,
that. Did like in I think the tops, not the tops, the upper deck, 1990. I think it's a
yeah.
1990 upper deck. The guy who chooses the pictures, he chose a picture of Bill Buckner with the big tube, like a big tunnel right between his legs. And he said, "Oh, and he hated the Red Sox, so he's like, I picked that picture on purpose, so it looks to remind everybody, like he's got a big hole between his legs, and the ball just goes through there."
That's great, dude.
And
I've kind of wondered that because I've looked at some of these baseball cards, and it blows my mind because I was like, I wonder if some of these guys like have any input on the pictures that are going on these cards because sometimes
yeah,
I was like, dude, I would not want that to be my baseball card. Like, what? How many
yeah.
pictures did you take of me last season? And that's the one you picked. That's the one. Like,
Well, yeah. Maybe. I mean, I don't know how all this licensing to only one company started,
yeah,
and maybe that was part of the reason. Because I know Topps forever, since they were pretty much exclusive for so many years, they already had dates with the players where they tell the players they're going to take their picture. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
the players will pose. And so yeah, when you had a company like Upper Deck and then come out of nowhere, I don't think they were following, that, I don't know what you would call it, some kind of like code of ethics, between the players union and the card companies back then.
I was about to say because these are a lot of the posed. The Damon Berryhill Donruss. He's all posed up. You could tell they were like, all right, pose for a picture. It wasn't like he was like, they didn't catch him like missing a ball or something like that.
Yeah. That was one of the first videos I watched. Was about Topps getting their cards made, and Panini actually, but they showed they were at a spring training facility, and the shooting started at 6 a.m. The shoot for the cards, and so they were showing players coming out, and the photographers just kind of giving talking. And he's talking about like, yeah, some players are excited to get a baseball card done, and some players who already had baseball cards, to them this is a waste. They don't want to do it, but
Yeah,
they're under contract. And so they showed Jason Worth. Jason Worth is a pretty popular player at the time. And he comes out there with the caca face, and the guy's telling him smile, and he doesn't smile, like very uncooperative. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But yeah, like even man, right next door to where I work at the Coliseum, Panini has their photo shoots there all the time, and I don't know why I don't make an effort to go, because I could probably go and at least look around and check it out.
Yeah.
But when Panini does their all the rookies and stuff, they all make their cards at the Coliseum.
You should get a Pepino Man card, mate.
I know. I actually like every time.
Oh, Topps Pepino Man. Rookie card.
Yeah, I need a
Oh,
Topps one. We went to the National, and at the National, they made me everybody. They were free. They were giving away slabs. PSA would take your picture and post your face on I think it was a Honus Wagner rookie card, and they would slab it. So you have your own slab.
oh
Like
my
they do it
God.
like that. It was free and it was free. And then like you go to Panini and Donruss and they'll make you digital cards and they email it to you, you know? And I'm stupid, but I have like the Panini card, I have a couple of cards that I got done at the National professionally, by Donruss, Panini, and
You've
whatever.
already got people in the chat offering to buy one.
Yes, but they email them to me and they're just stuck in my email. Like I don't know how to print them out. I'm stupid. All right, what is this spine ticks you speak of? Yeah,
Spine Ticks.
I'm missing out a lot of the comments. Oh, there you go. What is that?
Spine Ticks
Oh, you froze on
is
me.
a culture show that we
Oh,
do
what?
every Saturday night. And we've actually featured a couple of clips of you on the show. We've kind of
Really?
made you like our like if he finds good stuff on the internet, he'll post little clips of it and stuff like that. And we posted a couple clips of you. The best one is the one where you're wearing the muscle suit
Yeah.
and with the lotion. Oh my God,
Oh,
that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. But yeah, so we talk about sports cards, comic books, movies, TV shows, Star Wars, anything pop culture related, and we talk about all that. And it's hosted by Sith Lordley. He's got it's literally Spine Ticks as a channel on YouTube. You
okay.
can go
I
look it
gotta
up.
check that
Yeah,
out. Yeah. You know what? Like, I'm gonna tell you. One of my like me personally, most of my videos they're impromptu.
yeah,
All I need is the idea for the start, and once I start, because most of them were mail days. So I would pick a card and then I do a little skit with that card or change costume. You know what I mean? It's all.
yeah.
A lot of people ask me like, "Do you write it down?" It's like, no, everything is just like off the top of my head. Nothing's written down. But one video that I have two videos that took a lot of that actually took a lot of effort and time. You know, one of them was how to make an Italian sandwich. This guy had a video response for a contest, and I got picked with the task of how to make an Italian sandwich. So I made a video how to make an Italian sandwich, but I literally probably watched like 20 to 40 videos on how to actually make an Italian sandwich. So I knew all the actual Italian ingredients, you know what I mean? Because they were all, so that one was one of my most researched ones. And another one that took a lot of effort was where I pretend that you could pull cards out of ragu. That ragu had cards, the
Oh
spaghetti
my
sauce,
God.
that they had cards inside, right? So in my head, I go, oh, I'm gonna make a video about because I got the first time I got my '84 Donruss Don Mattingly, which was like my dream card as a kid that I never saw, and like so when I got it, man, I was just super crazy excited. And then someone told me like, man, he's like, it would have been fun if you would have pulled that out of ragu. And I said, that's a great idea. Should I make a video of that? And he was like, yeah, do it, do it. So I go to the store, I'll buy a can of ragu. And my whole thing, I'm just gonna put the card in there and and like
Yeah,
pull
like
it out,
joke
like, hey,
or
look, I
whatever.
pulled it out, Madeline. I was like, gonna be the whole thing of it. But I go and none of the lids, the jar, the top, they're all too small. The card won't fit in the ragu.
Oh God.
So I go back and they had this fettuccine that had a bigger top, right? Like some kind of fettuccine, but it was white. So I had to buy that one, throw all throw it away, everything that was inside the fettuccine, wash it, and then go buy a couple of ragus to put in that jar. And then I had to buy another bigger ragu label to put over you know.
Yeah. So
So, anyways,
you actually had to do some setup and staging and stuff like that.
yeah,
My
all
stuff's
right,
all off the cuff. All my videos are like that. Like I don't
yeah,
plan anything. I
yeah.
usually
99% of my stuff is off the cuff too. But that one, because I ran into like problems, like, oh man, it messed up. I had to like I almost never redo my videos, but I had to redo that one. So I'm in my backyard, right? And so I open up the container and then I just, chug it on my face. All the ragu just falls on my face and my whole body's covered in ragu. And then I pull the card and I'm like, yeah! And then I pull the dog manually. All right, yeah. So that's the end of the video, right? But then I go into my shower. I go in my shower and I shower, and my shower gets clogged up from all the tomato. I mean,
all the
there's
tomato sauce.
tomatoes, onions, and it just got clogged up. And my wife, she hates my YouTube, and she's like, "You better not," So I had to call a plumber. I tried to unclog it. I couldn't unclog it. I had to call a plumber, and he was like, "Oh, I could be there tomorrow." I said, "No, I need you to come right now." He's like, "Oh, that would be like $200 for an emergency." So I had to pay like 200 and something dollars for him to come and unclog my restroom before my wife got home and she saw it.
The things you have to do for YouTube videos
Yeah,
sometimes.
exactly. It's like that video cost me money. Not only that, and all the ragu bottles and fettuccine bottles I had to buy.
Let's see. Let's see. I've done some staging for some like thumbnails. I did one where what did I do? I did a video where I did the thumbnail where I took a like picture of me in my bed with like no shirt on, and it was like, oh, what did I name the video? I named it something, and then right when the video started, like I was sitting there in like front of the video camera, but I like had all my clothes on, and I was like, bunch of perverts, every single one of you, everybody who clicked on this thumbnail thought they was gonna see something dirty, every one of you, get your
Oh,
minds out of the gutter. And so yeah, I've done stuff like that, but that's pretty much been the most of it because I mean everything else I just come up with on the fly. Haul videos, you just talk about what books I got in, so that's all off the fly stuff. I think that's about it. Most of the editing I've ever done is just putting my intro into my video.
yeah,
That's
my
about it.
editing is just pressing the pause button. I
Yeah,
already have the pause button. So if I mess it up, it's messed up. I have no retakes. I don't have any editing
yeah.
capability.
What was that wrestling thing where he was like, it was Sid Vicious said, "Oh, I screwed that up. Let me do it again." And he was like, "We're live, pal.
Yeah.
There's no take two."
Yeah, most of my stuff is just off the cuff, and yeah, I don't have any editing, so I just pause. A lot of people ask me like, "What editing do you have?" I was like, I pause every time. You'll always see my hand right here, like, because I pause,
Yeah.
change costumes, pause it, change
When I
costume.
first started making videos, I was doing it on my phone, and that's the way I had to do it. I had to do it that way because I was like, man, there's no other way. Like, I found out there's a thing you can buy that's like a little remote for your phone, and it'll
Mhm.
pause it and stuff like that. So you can just do it with that. But I was like, man, I'm not buying some little thing. Like, I'll probably end up losing it, or like, one of the cats started playing with it and knocking underneath something, and I'll be like, where did it go? It was right here the other day. And
Yeah, so I mean, for the longest, for like 5 years, I didn't even, never even choose my thumbnail. Whatever
yeah,
frame it was on, that was my thumbnail. And
sometimes that's the best ones though. Sometimes like I let that happen a lot, and sometimes that's the best ones because it'll show
well,
stuff that you could have never caught.
there's one where people were making challenges all the time, and it would be like quick. It'd be more like a quick video challenge. Show me your favorite graded 8. Show me your favorite graded 9. And
Yeah.
show me your 10. And I did a video showing obviously just a PSA graded 10, but that was my title, was show a 10. And so my whole thing was like, oh, I'm gonna pull a PSA 10 slab out of my shorts, you know. And that happened to be the thumbnail, was me like with my hand in my shorts pulling it out. And I got
Oh
so
my
many
god,
views. People
that's
thought I
perfect.
was like, pulling something else out. But that was like, people like, oh, that was a good thumbnail. I was like, I didn't pick it. It's just
I didn't.
perfect.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
meant
just
to
perfect.
be. that's another weird thing too. When I started getting into cards, I have no problem buying a graded card. Like if I like, I've started looking at a few. I haven't bought any of them yet, but I've either got some that I'm thinking about sending in to get graded, and then there's a few that I'm looking at that are graded, and I have no problem buying a graded card because I was like, I mean, you can see the front and the back of the card, so that's like all I
Yeah,
need to see. It's not like I don't know. I don't have a problem with it, which is
that's
really
that,
weird.
yeah, that's one of my disadvantages as a collector is I don't buy online. I only buy in person.
Mm-hmm.
So man, if I could just go on eBay and shop, I'm sure I'd complete so many of my sets or go on COMC or whatever. I'm sure I could. It, but that's why I make it harder on myself because I have to come across it myself, to
Yeah.
buy.
Some people do it that way. I mean, I do either or. I buy stuff in person out at places, and then at the same time, I buy stuff online too. If it's like one issue and I've been to a few places and I can't find it, or if I'm looking for a specific card and I go a few places and I can't find it, then I come home and I'll just be like, you know what? If I can find a good deal online, I'll take it.
Yeah,
But
I mean that's fine. I don't have a sometimes on the internet, social media, whatever. People think if you don't do something like say with me, like, oh, I don't shop online, I don't use eBay, I don't use CMC. It's like, oh, so why do you hate it? Or they think I don't like people who do it. It's like, no, it's just a personal choice.
yeah,
I don't have a computer.
yeah, people
I have
collect
no
different.
problem with people buying on eBay. Or I just don't do that.
There are some people who buy
To each
comic
his
books who
own.
buy nothing but graded comic books. There are some people who won't buy a graded comic book at all. It doesn't matter. It's however you want to do it. Like
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you do whatever you want. Like me, I don't have a problem with you know I'm not a big fan of grading, so I've never graded any cards. And that like one of those things where people probably didn't get it. That's always been my thing. Is like I've never sent a card to get graded. I've never have. I don't do that.
yeah,
Not a big deal. But I made a video where like, hey, my first PSA reveal. I sent 10 cards to get graded, and
yeah. I saw
and
that one.
yeah, but they were all cards that I already had that I had already bought. And everybody was like, "Whoa, that's great for your first time." Like, not I don't think a single person caught on. I was like,
I
"No,
was gonna say they were all
that was
pins.
fake. That
Like
was
they were
fake.
all pins. And then at the
I
end of the
already had
video,
all those."
you had the tubes or whatever. You were like, it was
Yeah.
like, and I was like, wait, is he really using tubes to look at these cards? No way, this is not a thing. Like I had to go online because I'm new, so I had to go online and look it up and be like, are people using tubes to look at cards? And I was like, okay, yeah,
So I thought that would have been a dead giveaway, but people were still like, "Oh wow, congratulations, that's awesome!" Like, "Oh, I never get all tens," and I was like, "Yeah, perfect 10 for 10." Yeah, but yeah, I've never sent cards to get graded, but I have a lot of them. Sometimes, especially with me, who's like a big vintage collector,
yeah,
a lot of times I'll find slab cards cheaper than the raw cards. And the reason being is like, say you go to a dealer or a person and they have a raw card. Nowadays, a lot of new dealers, they want to go by the graded, like, oh, I think this will grade a PSA 5 and a
yeah,
PSA
yeah,
5. And I'm looking at it like that's not a 5. You know what I mean? So I'm better off actually buying a PSA 3 for cheaper. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Then the guy's trying to sell his raw because he's telling me it'll grade a 5.
yeah.
So that's how I end up buying slab. That's why I tell people sometimes a slab is cheaper than the raw card, you know?
Well,
And
see, and yeah, it's different every kind of like there. The main comic book company that grades, they don't, or they at least used not to. They might now. They don't take off for like factory defects. If something came back from the factory, or if it came out the factory and it was messed up,
yeah,
like say it had a messed up corner or something like that, they don't count that as one that you might have done yourself. But I found out with cards that's not the case. Like if I get a card, if it's not centered perfect from the factory, that's going to affect the grade of it. And it doesn't matter that it came from the factory that way.
yeah. I mean, I have my reasons why I'm not sold on grading. You know what I mean? But I understand it, and if you're into it, you're into it. I
Yeah,
got
I get
jaded.
it.
A lot of people get jaded, by certain events in your life, and
Yeah,
I mean, just to put it real quick, I went with a bunch of my LA Dodger card collector friends to a car show, and PSA was there,
Yeah.
and they had a bunch of people signing autographs. So my friend got Puig's autograph, and we were there. We're filming him, taking pictures. Puig signed a couple of his cards in a ball. We go straight to the PSA booth, and the PSA booth tells us, "Oh no, this one's fake." My friends are like, "No, he just signed it right now." He's like, "No, no, he didn't sign this one. This one's fake." So they refused to grade it, saying that it was a fake autograph, and we're like, he just literally just signed it like 10 minutes ago. So that's kind of a short version of the reason. But then after that, all our friends were like, "Hey man, you know what?" And so what they started doing in our group chat, everybody was getting cards and fake signing autographs. You know what I mean? And like telling everybody which one looks close, which one looks close. And people were choosing, like telling people, "Oh, that one looks good, that one looks good." So a bunch of them sent their autographs that they signed themselves, of whatever, Kershaw, Weed, Bellinger, whatever, sent them off to PSA, and quite a few of them came back authentic.
Yeah.
But we all knew for sure that we did it ourselves. That it
That
wasn't
just
authentic.
happened. That just happened with comic books too. There's a company that I'm going to use that seems to have good. They're good quality and they're cheap, and it looks nice or whatever. And they do one where if you send them a comic that's been graded, been signed, they can authenticate it for you, and it'll just say on the label, it was authenticated, it wasn't witnessed. So just to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I was thinking that too because I want to get one book signed by a whole bunch of people, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, like it would piss me off if I sent that thing to go in to get graded, and they're like, hey, we can't grade it because yeah, most of these signatures look real, but this one looks fake, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, are you kidding me right now? So yeah, I got to figure out how all this works. Like, it's kind of a pain to figure out how all this works. Like, what I have to do, like the hoops I have to jump through. I was just like, man, now I see why I don't do this. Like,
But yeah, but I mean it's pretty crazy, like when you think about it, because say like they have writing experts or handwriting experts, like in the FBI or whatever, when you go to court, but they will look at 100 documents that person has written. Most graders, they're just comparing it to real autographs that they know about. You know, so there's a big difference in the skill level. But yeah, I mean, but hey, what can you do? PSA is like killing it, even though they're not really a great
when I
company.
heard it was $100 a card, I was like, well, that knocks that out right there because I don't have a card that's worth $100, so I don't. So
Right?
there you go. And then it was like a year to get it back in, and I was like, okay, well, that's kind of happening with comic books too. The major company it was taking them a year or more to get, like, if you sent one book in, didn't matter, a year or more to get it back from
I,
getting graded.
and me, I'm really not too afraid of counterfeits and fakes as much as other people are.
Yeah,
Like I have so many friends that buy collections, that buy whatever storages, and they'll just buy thousands of cards from strangers
yeah.
and send them in to get graded. And I don't think I can remember of one person that's gotten back a fake card. You know?
Well, see, that's something that I worried about too, buying off of eBay. But at the same time, I wouldn't know in person if it was a fake card or a real card or whatever. But I've even thought buying this stuff off of eBay. I was like, why is this so cheap? And I was like, is this like real or is this fake? Do they make does it say fake somewhere in the description and I'm not seeing it or something like that? Like, what's going on here? But
Yeah, like I don't know, man. Like the first time that I ever heard about how widespread counterfeiting
yeah,
was when I got my Pete Rose second year card, and I posted it on Instagram. This is way before I had YouTube. And I posted on Instagram, and then like somebody replied like, "Oh, that's one of the most counterfeited cards right now." And I was like, "Counterfeit?" I was like, "People counterfeit cards?" Like that was my first time, like really, really like, wow,
well,
like this could be
they
fake.
just busted some company that sold autograph stuff. for like, just having fake stuff. I think they definitely sold a bat to somebody that they said was signed by Babe Ruth, and it wasn't.
Yeah, see,
But
that's
I
tough.
can't, I can't remember what the name of the company was. And then they had the one that was on eBay that lots of people buy like cards from off of eBay,
Yeah.
and they found out that they were doing, what was it, shill bidding or whatever,
Oh
where they
yeah,
would, yeah,
PWCC, I think. Yeah, they've been doing
yeah,
that
yeah,
for a long
yeah,
time. Yeah, it's a trip, man. Yeah, there's so much funny stuff going out there, but like I said, like you know, my personally for me, this is why I say for me is because I don't sell. So most of my cards that I get, they're gonna stay in my collection probably forever. So
yeah,
I'm not worried about. It's like like I tell people sometimes, like I don't know, maybe it's because like say when I was a kid, when I was little and we were poor, and I wanted to have Nikes and I wanted Reeboks and stuff. We would go to the swap meet and buy them for like a quarter of the price of the real one. I
yep,
knew they were fake. And so,
mhm,
everybody at the swap meet knows that everything, is like, I didn't care. I didn't
yeah,
care. I started believing it was real. And maybe that's how I think about cars. Like, I don't care. Maybe, I mean, I have, a million cards. I'm
yeah,
sure there's one or two fakes in there somewhere, you know,
somewhere.
maybe, but I don't care. I don't want to know. I'll die happy not knowing that fact.
So, do you have like goals? Because I know comic book collectors have goals every year. Um, and I set a card goal for myself this year. I didn't know if anybody else in the card community did they like you. Is
Yeah.
there like certain sets you're just working on to get done this year?
Oh yeah, there's especially now with people that are going after rainbows and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
all want to complete a certain run. And, this year I want to complete this. I'm going to complete that. My I have goals, but they're really not normally short-term goals. They're mostly all long-term goals.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I don't set yearly goals as much as other people do. When I set a yearly goal, it'd be like, oh, I'm going to clean up my room. You know, the basic cop out. But yeah, like me, like I collect Mickey Mantles, and now they're really, really, really pricey. So my goal, I kind of tell myself two two cards a year, good cards a year,
Yeah.
because I'm only collecting playing year cards.
Yeah.
I'm not collecting like the new cards that come out that are 5 cents, 50 cents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I buy. My goal is to complete but I give myself like 10 years to do that. You know what I mean? So I'll hopefully complete it in 3 years. Like when I started completing my first vintage set, 1958, I gave myself 5 years to complete it. You know what I mean? I didn't say I just financially couldn't say I'm gonna try
I was
to
about to say, yeah,
do it
those
by the end of
cards
the year.
cost like hundreds and hundreds of dollars on the cheap
Yeah,
end for like, yeah. So
yeah. Every once in a while, I was like, okay, the Mickey Mantle's not cheap. The Roberto Clemente is not cheap. The
no,
Willie
yeah,
Mays is not cheap. So you try to knock out. Like it's fun when you go to a card shop and they have old boxes of old cards. And you can buy them for $1 each, 50 cents each.
yeah,
But you don't find that often anymore. You
yeah.
know?
It was the same way with comics. I could go to any comic book store anywhere and find dollar bins. They'd be like, hey, everything on the floor is $1 or something like that. And you would dig through, and sometimes you find some good stuff in there. But now it's those, you don't find
Yeah.
those. Like you'll find like when shops do like sales and stuff like that, like you'll find them. I think it's funny that like, uh, I know y'all use the term LCS, which we use the same thing because it's local comic store and then local card shop. I
Oh
don't.
yeah.
I had to Google it for card shops around me. The closest big city to me is Greenville, South Carolina. Right? I Googled it.
Mhm.
There's no card shops in Greenville, South Carolina anywhere. None, not one. The closest one I can
Wow.
find is in Columbia, is the state capital. There's like two or three there. And I was like, really? There's not one? Like, there's like four comic book stores. There's not one card shop. I figured there would be. There's like, three or four record stores, Figured there would be a card shop somewhere. None.
Carl Daly is asking if we saw that movie Blast from the Past where they were using a 52 Mickey Mantle for as money. I
Yeah.
remember that, but I think it was a fake, right? At the end, it was a fake,
Um, I
wasn't
think
it?
no,
Was that
because
the one?
I think his were legit because he had bought them when he was a kid, and then he went in the time capsule. So when he came out with all these mint cards, everybody's like, "These have got to
Oh,
be."
maybe that's not the same movie. Okay, that's not the same movie
Yeah,
I'm thinking
I think
about
it's
then.
Blast from the Past. That's the Brendan Fraser movie because he bought all these
Okay.
like
Yeah, no, that's
old
not the same
baseball
movie I'm
cards when he
thinking
was
about.
a kid. And so when he came back out into the world now, he walked into a card shop, I think at the beginning of the movie, and it was like a card and comic store. It had both. And he walked in and he like traded in like Fantastic Four #1, Spider Man #1, like a 50 something, like a 52 Mantle, Mickey Mantle, and it was like in really really nice condition. Like dude at the store was just like, "Where'd you find this?" Like it's got to be fake.
No, yeah, the scene that popped into my head first, man, I almost want to say it was Bill Murray. I remember it was a comedian, but he was trying to sell the card to his friend that was like a successful businessman, and his friend was gonna buy it, for whatever, for $20,000, and he's telling his wife, "Yeah, I'm gonna buy this baseball card for $20,000," and she's all, "You're not gonna do such thing. That's stupid, whatever." But the wife and him are eating dinner, and the guy goes looking for him while he's eating dinner with his wife, and he goes up to him with the 52 manual and he gives it to him, like, it's like, here. And the guy's like, oh my God, he's all in love with it. And then the wife, like, you're not buying this. And he's like, yes, I am. And like, she cuts it, like, she rips it. She rips the card. She rips the card apart and gives it back to them. Like, here's your baseball card. We're not spending no 20,000 on a stupid baseball card. And the dude just walks away. So I was like, wow, how is he so calm? But it turns out, like, oh, it was a fake card. It was a fake 52 manual.
Hey, Diamond Princess.
Diamond Princess in the
Diamond
house.
Princess.
Yo, 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 what's up, Jesse Think Blue? So a lot of people say they are afraid of buying fake items.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
Carl Davis,
because it's funny because a buddy of mine was making he was making a video last year, and they were talking about the fake signatures on books and stuff like that, and he was like, "I got one that y'all ain't even probably thought about yet. Fake slab comic books. It's gonna happen." And then I think it was a few months later, somebody bought one off of eBay. They ran the number through the CGC registry, and the number didn't come back that book. It came back a different book. And I was like, oh
well,
my God, he was right. So they can fake anything. I mean, you potentially could have a fake anything. Like, it's
well,
just,
have you seen that? Have you seen the documentary about that comic book guy that faked all those signatures? That he could copy anybody's signature like nothing. He was an artist. So there's a big documentary about this guy who, like, they made millions. They made millions selling fake autographs, right? So before that movie came out, I think it was Baseball Collector. Uh, he showed this big old poster that he had, and it was signed by Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Carl Yastrzemski, like all these crazy Hall of Famers. I was like, how the hell did someone get all those, you know, big time, the best autographs that you can get in one poster, right?
yeah,
But then I started seeing other people posting up that same poster signed by every single person. I was like, no, this is impossible. And then like 2 years later, that documentary came out, and it was about that guy who faked all these signatures, that he could write anybody's signature. Like, you give him your signature and he'll
yeah,
make an exact, because he's an artist.
yeah.
And so
They can do
he
that.
went to like a comic book store, a memorabilia store, and the guy that worked there, he told the guy, like, hey, I can sign anybody's name exactly the same. The guy's, all right, well, let me see you do Mickey Mantle, let me see you do Willie Mays. And he started
Yeah,
doing it. He's like, man, we're gonna be millions. And they
yeah,
went into this big venture of just making fake memorabilia,
yeah,
and they made millions. But that poster, they made like thousands of those posters. I was like, oh, there it is, man. I knew that was impossible to get all those signatures in one place. and so many of them. You know, I was
I
like,
know a lot of
Willie
people who
Mays is
have
probably over here.
I know a lot of people who have like comic books that they get signed that they don't get like they don't get graded and they don't get them witnessed or anything like that, and they're just in their collection. And I mean, you kind of just take their word for it because I mean, cons are a thing. Like they're everywhere. Like you can, like I know a guy who he lives in the same town as Mark Bagley, and if he goes to this comic book store, he's liable to run into him. And this guy will literally sign anything you hand him. Like, yeah, if you want it signed, you just hand him a marker and he'll sign it. He does not care. And I was like, imagine how many of his books are just floating around that just have his signature on it that he's done signed all these signatures and never charged anybody
Yeah,
anything for them.
Stumpy, relax. Yeah, like Carl Daly saying, there's a bunch of fakes coming from China and Korea and stuff.
Yeah.
Those been coming out for a while. The Beckett slabs and PSA slabs coming from those countries, they've been
Mm.
coming out for a good while. I remember it started with like when the hot market got hot, they were coming out with fake Lucas and fake LeBron James.
Yeah. There are companies that
I'm gonna
make
get a
a living. I know musicians sometimes they'll get like musical instruments copied, and there's companies in China that do it, and they'll exactly copy anything that you send them. It'll just be not the one that you just send them dimensions. So I mean, they just make it out of
yeah.
whatever, I guess.
Well, there's also say like Dak Prescott or say man, I just said his name Luka Doncic,
Yeah,
even Willie Mays. Willie Mays, his wife used to sign everything for him at the house when he would get stuff sent to the house.
yeah.
Willie Mays' wife she signed everything for him. So it wasn't even Willie Mays, it was his wife. Luka Doncic, I think when Panini or whatever sent him all their cards, I think his mom signed them all. So his mom signed all his autograph cards. So like
So somewhere down
it's
the
been
line, somebody's
happening
going to
for a
get
good
something
while.
signed by Luca, and then they're going to look at one of his cards, and
Yeah.
they're going to be like, "Wait a minute, this doesn't look the same."
Yeah, and Dak Prescott, when Dak Prescott, because they'll send like 1,000 cards to the player's
Mhm.
house, and the player's supposed to sign.
Yeah,
Dak Prescott put them in what's that called? That I can't believe I just forgot what it's called. The auto pen.
yeah.
So all his cards were auto pen, and people noticed it. They're like, everybody starts posting it. Here's card 1 out of 2, 1 out of 100, 2 out of 100, 5 out of 100, and they all look exactly the same. You know what I mean? We're like, hey, like this is auto pen. This has to be auto pen.
Yeah. I've only gotten one auto card, and it's a Blake Prohl draft pick card autograph. And I was like, hey, I didn't know Ricky Prohl had a brother because that was the first thing that I thought. I was like, it's either his kid or his brother. Is he old enough for his kid to be? No, it's got to be like his little brother or something like that. So it's nice that he's doing the same thing that his older brother did. He needs to play in a few Super Bowls and he'll be there. But yeah, like that's the only one I've ever
Yeah,
done. I don't really pull a whole lot of crazy stuff. Like I just rip packs open and I get like inserts and stuff like that. But as far as like I get numbered cards from here and there, but I don't get a whole lot of autographs and stuff. I just pulled a Pete Alonso medallion card out of a top blaster box.
oh
But I'm
wow,
giving that, but
that's
I'm
cool.
giving that away to
Are,
somebody who
are
I
they
know is a
heavy?
Mets fan.
Are the new ones? Are they pretty heavy? The new ones?
Yeah, this thing is. Oh, this thing's pretty. It's pretty stout. I was like, dude.
I can't believe Cardboard Crazy said that Tim Allen has his secretary sign all his autographs. I like that dude. Now I don't like him so much.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
pretty.
he's saying
They're
that
pretty
played
stout
Buzz Lightyear.
cards.
I remember him, Tim. Oh, all right, those ones.
Yeah,
Those are pretty cool. That's a really cool design. That's a really cool design.
and so this is
Okay,
like
I'm
what
gonna
a
get a
patch
drink.
of. This is like a patch
I'll be
off
right
his
back.
jersey where the number is. Probably an arm patch. Yeah, I figured these guys probably didn't sign all their own stuff. Couldn't. Somebody sent me 1,000 cards. I wouldn't want to sign them either. Thinking I wouldn't want to sign 1,000 cards either if I had to. How long could it possibly take? I mean, you wouldn't do it all at once. You'd space it out. They probably give you a little time where you got to send them back.
Well, there was a lot of, I don't know. This was before they called it that, but what's it called? There was a lot of, oh man, what's it called? Outrage
Oh
in the
yeah,
community because Acuna, Acuna Jr. I think it was Acuna. He himself, he posted a video on his IG where he has a stack of cards, blank cards that he's supposed to sign, baseball cards, and he's signing them, and then he's throwing them into a big box, just chucking them into a box. Sign it, chuck it into a box. Sign it, chuck it into a box. He's like, this is what I'm doing on my Friday night or whatever, and he's just throwing all these cards, and everybody's like, no wonder nobody could get a 10 on these, you know. He was just chucking them in a box, to send them back.
oh my God, that kid,
And
man, he does like he's a character, man. Like I've watched him play live. I went to go see the Red Sox play the Braves last year, in Atlanta, and dude, it was just fun to watch him play. He was just having a good time. He was cutting up, just being goofy, and I was like, it's
yeah,
nice when you stay like that because most people get the money. It turns into a job, you know.
yeah, but keep in mind these guys are still young. See what happens in 6 years from now.
That's true. That's
But
true.
yeah, like anyways, like you have like on the Dodgers you have Puig who did that, and man, once he got money, he just
Yeah.
lost it. He's one of the people that didn't handle it well. Yeah. I'm gonna open up this pack real quick, see if I get anything good. You like Chronicles? You ever open these?
Dude, I like Chronicle. Yeah, I bought some of last year's. I haven't bought any of this year's. I think the next box I'm going to buy is a blaster box of the Bowman because they look really, really nice, and I want to get them. The store ain't
Yeah,
going to have
Bowman was
them.
really good.
The Bowman and the Donruss
Well,
sell
look at first card I got is a soda. The
one
first
soda.
card I got is a that's
That's my
for
boy.
Ed Wesker, Griff. We got Andrew Vaughn.
Oh yeah, I got a few of his rookie cards.
Vaughn.
Yeah.
Look at this Mike Trout action.
Oh, there you go. I pulled a Mike Trout Stars in the MLB yesterday.
Oh, from Tops?
Yeah.
And a Trey Turner wearing red, who's on the Dodgers now. I don't know why he's wearing red. He's been on
What?
the Dodgers
Who
for
did he
2
play for
years now.
last year?
2 years. He was on the Dodgers last year, but he got traded from the Nationals.
That's what it was.
Nationals.
Let's see. Is it over here? I might have put it over
They
here.
cashed the check.
Do what? I'm looking to
I'm
see.
reading some of the comments right now.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, pulled this yesterday out of the Topps pack.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
And then I opened some of the big league and some of the Series 1. And I literally said before that I hadn't pulled any Otani cards or any Tatis cards because I'm a big Tatis fan. And lo and behold, I pulled a Otani, the throwback, the 87 Topps throwback wood grain. I pulled one of those,
Yeah.
and then I pulled two Tatis Juniors yesterday, and I was like, "There we go." It's like I've watched people do this on videos where they open stuff and they're like, this is what I'm looking for, and then they get it, and I was like, "Oh man, it's like the card gods have smiled on you or something."
Well, me personally, I have always felt, and I've always expressed this. I feel like certain regions get certain cards.
Definitely.
You know, like right now, like Four Leaf Cards, who was on here earlier, he was buying boxes after boxes after boxes and didn't pull a single Wander Franco.
Yeah.
I pulled like 100 Wander Francos. It seems like every pack I open has a Wander Franco.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I always,
I think I've got two. I think I've got two now. I've got a tops opening day and the regular series, both the base cards. Well, the base card that I have is a Gold Cup card too. It's the Gold Cup rookie card. Or yeah.
yeah, see, yeah.
So I mean, yeah,
But
like it's definitely regional because I can tell you right now, I get tons of White Sox cards, tons of Mets cards, and tons of Brewers cards, and I've noticed that.
I
Like,
remember when I first started my channel. Yeah, like I remember like in 2018, I was having this battle with this guy from New York over who's the best player, who was the best rookie, Judge or Bellinger at the time. And so we were having like, all right, let's see who pulls the most Bellingers and the most Judges, you know. And he was in New York, and he was constantly pulling Bellinger, and I wasn't getting hardly any, but I was getting 100 judge cards all the time, and he wasn't getting any. And I was like, dude, this has, you know, it's on purpose, you know, has
because
to be.
I don't get a whole lot of like Red Sox is my main PC. I do PC Braves cards too, but that's kind of just for like maybe if I get older and I want to let some cards go, then those will be the ones that'll go. But I don't know. I kind of like some of the players they have too. So I've started PCing them too, and I get lots of Braves, which is unusual. I thought I wouldn't get any, and then I get a few Red Sox cards, but not a whole lot of them. Like I've seen was it Double T Trucker Tim or whatever. He
Yeah,
lives in Tennessee. He pulls Red Sox stuff all the time. He pulled a Ortiz patch card last year, and I was like, "Are you serious?" Like I never find anything. Like I'll find Bogart's cards, Xander Bogart's cards here and there. Might find a Devers here and there, but then it's just mainly just like nothing crazy.
yeah. I mean, because that's just, I mean, because that's what McDonald's got caught for. You know what I mean? How when they would have their Monopoly or whatever, and you got to complete certain set, it was impossible because there was one or two that were almost impossible to get in your area. So
Yep.
no matter how many pieces you kept buying, you were never going to complete it. And that makes sense when you're a set collector. You know, you need that one card. The odds are against you in getting that one card you need.
See, that's where
So you keep
conventions
buying.
and stuff come in. You go to card conventions and you get the cards that you couldn't get in your area because that guy's got them.
Yeah, that's the only way you find them, man. You just can't find them, you know, on your own. Like me, I try to complete most of my sets by packs, but I know better now. I've been to
Yeah,
that point where I need two cards, and I spent $200-300, you know, to get a 5 cent card. You know?
yeah. It does seem like if you want a certain card, if you want like was it Diamond Princess pulled one earlier that Mookie Betts Marvels card. It's like a Donruss card. She pulled one earlier.
Yeah,
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. It would be insane for me to just go out and buy every box of Donruss and try to pull that same card. Like when I could literally just, I mean, I'm gonna like it would just be better just to go buy it off of eBay, or something like that,
yeah,
or try to just go to a
definitely.
card shop and see if they have one. They probably have one there. You know, so
Well, all right, man. I'm gonna hit the sack now. Go eat and go to work tomorrow morning.
all right.
Thanks for joining me,
I'll be
man.
up all
Thanks for
night
the
on
chat.
night owl. I work third shift.
Oh, do you? Man, I got a
Mm.
double header on Tuesday. We're playing a double header on Tuesday, so that's gonna be an all day and night work for me. Be killer. But all right, man.
Have a
Peace
good one.
out. Thanks for joining. You too, man. Love the hobby, people. Let's keep collecting baseball cards forever, essay, comic books.
Yep.